Ready? Hello. Welcome, everybody. Our
Welcome.
Cute little moderators are already here. Alicia is traveling still, and we can tell you that tomorrow we are going to shoot for another live as well later in the afternoon. But tonight, Liz wanted to talk about her dad a little bit, talk about the fundraiser a little bit. And so we were like, let's go live. This is why we have a channel. And then I just got home from work, and I work at a mental health crisis center here in Los Angeles. And I just get so inspired every time I go to work. And Liz and I talk about this. So we thought let's just talk. And we just got a cute little chat. So we do have an announcement for August 12th. We are going to be inviting everybody to participate in a chat-a-thon for
Right? It's the cutest name ever.
Bob Ferris. Yeah, hosted by our lovely Never In Squad. And we freaking love them, and they're also fun. They've done this before. They do the after shows. They make you guys laugh. And now they're trying to help us not only process what we're going through from an outside perspective, which is invaluable, but freaking raise money so that we can help Bob. And we just really adore them for that. So we are setting up our, I don't know what you would call it, schedule of who our people talking will be, right?
Get everybody written down as to what time.
Yeah, there's going to be a bunch of different people. Sorry, it's been a long day. We have a lot of friends, hosts, SPTV creators who want to support. And I'm going to spend the next day or two sending out some invites. And if you want to be part of it, you PM me if you're an SPTV creator already. You guys are awesome, supportive, and we all just really like to hang out with each other and do things for a good reason. And that's what keeps us going. So we're going to have some fun personalities on hosting, as well as the whole team of the Never Ends. And they're just going to go for it, you guys. They're just going to keep on going. And new people are going to come in, and we're going to keep raising money for Liz's expenses to get her dad some help and hopefully see him and hopefully get him on the other side, right?
Absolutely. So, as of that, we are planning another trip down. We're going to fly this time because we were pretty wiped out when it came to a 10-hour drive down and a 10-hour drive back, and doing it over, weekend time period. So we do have everything set in stone as to when it's going to be, that when we're coming down, when, we'll need to get all of the finances by. We are halfway there. So it is amazing that, thank you so very much for getting me halfway there. So as soon as we have everything sorted, that way I can pick up documents. We're flying down, and unfortunately, I kind of wish that flights were the $39.99 that they used to be. Again, I'm aging myself, but we have to. They're a lot more expensive. Like my PS5 kind of expensive.
Well, also you bought a computer so that we could talk and advocate for your father. So even that alone, everything costs money. It's okay. We just have to ask for it. And I think people help, right? Uh-oh, did your earphones go out? Okay. I'll keep talking because we have a lot of people watching. So either way, Liz has funds that she needs. Juliana says it's going to be a bit different than the previous one, but it'll be fun. And thank you guys for literally putting this together at the drop of a hat, because the reason is that it's urgent and they want to fly down here instead of waste their time driving. Liz had to buy the computer. Liz has had to buy a microphone you see in front of you. We're still getting our tech together. Clearly. You okay, Liz?
I know, right?
Oh, you can hear it?
No, but it's coming out of I heard it in the beginning and then it died.
Okay. Oh, okay. Maybe your earphones died. It doesn't sound bad though without the earphones. Does anybody want to? Do you think it sounds?
Maybe Jesus.
Oh, okay.
It's technical difficulties due to my old age, but everything is working now.
Oh, you can hear it?
Started in the right direction.
Oh, well, whatever makes
Sorry.
it work, we are happy with. Okay, so you can hear us now and everything?
Everything's good. Everything's
Awesome.
solid.
So yeah, the reason why we're asking everybody just like throw it together for us because it's incredible. Well, actually, they offered. We did not ask. They did offer, but we are gonna ask our guests on a last minute notice because we do everything at the urgency that it requires for Liz to get to her dad. So that's what we're doing. Goldie helpfully posted an awesome link in the chat if anybody wants to donate. We have had some awesome donations from some people who we really respect and admire. Karen donated, Christy Gordon donated, Claire Headley donated.
Claire Headley.
Like, we've had so many awesome friends. And then all of our community. I mean, honestly, like you guys, we recognize your names. We know who's there watching us in the chat. Sometimes it gets confusing because it is a lot of new names all at once. But honestly, it's pretty easy to see who's like always there supporting us.
Absolutely.
Another one who I'm just like, you're an angel from heaven. There's so many just angels who just pop in and like obviously Goldie, obviously all the usual suspects, but even the people who aren't acknowledged all the time. Like we see you, we know that you want to stay behind the scenes. Actually, we love that. We need that. We need you to talk. We need you to also be there. Like when we want someone who like nobody knows, it's like anything you want to do, we need it. We need all the help. We're fighting $1 billion cult.
We are. And the hard part is again, most of us did not grow up with the June Cleaver, Leave It to Beaver type family. So when people reach out, and I know when they text me, they'll reach out or message me, sorry. Then all of a sudden it's like, hey, we're behind you. We have your back. I've never gotten that from my family ever. So the idea that, well, besides my other half. So let me clarify that. It's just one of those things where it's like, oh my God, I am loved. I am cool. Like, this one right here. Goldie, you're it, by the way, tag.
You saw that?
I didn't see. I don't have
noticed
that.
You guys are playing some kind of
tag. You're it. No, unfortunately,
but
I can't see the chat.
You just knew she was here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Okay. She said tag you were it first, so I don't know who's it. But
so
I want to say something too on the topic of like never ends and stuff. Sometimes ends and anybody in recovery, sometimes we really just need role models. And we've never seen people who have healthy boundaries or who don't answer the phone in the middle of the night because it's an emergency, because that's how you like hurt your own mental health. And when people set boundaries like for themselves, I actually noticed that. I'm like, oh, they're taking care of themselves. Like they actually think they're worth it to like get 6 hours of sleep. That's
astonishing.
I can't do that. I would rather sacrifice myself over and over. Like, no, that's not how it works, right? So we got to like also role model that. And I think that a lot of people who are just supporting us are always there for emotional support. And that's also so meaningful because they know exactly what they can provide and they're clear about it. And when we can like be clear about our boundaries, actually put them into words, because it's super uncomfortable sometimes to just say what we really want or how we want people to treat us, then they know what to expect. Like if I tell you, if you do that, if you punch me in the face 2 more times, I'm really going to take a month away from speaking to you because I love you still, but you can't punch me in the face. Then they're like, okay, I still got 2 face punches left. Bad example, but it's more like with words sometimes, sometimes words feel like a punch in the face. So sometimes you just have to take space, tell people what you need. And if they continue, then they have to have consequences and then they learn, right?
Absolutely. Because, that's one thing I'm really bad at, especially when it comes to my mom, because as I've always looked, I don't have a lot of people besides my other half. And I have a really hard time setting a boundary with her when it comes to all of this, like very hard. So when, let's say the 2 cents is thrown in and it's nasty, I crumble, like I'm falling apart.
With
Like,
your mom, not your partner. You have a hard time
correct,
setting, yeah.
with my mom. And so it's like, I need everyone to be on my side when it comes to this, because I'm doing everything I can. My friend's in danger. All of these things, because I want families to have their family member back.
Mm-hmm.
Male, female, grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, child. I don't care. We just need them out.
Well,
So,
but also like when your mom, so we are both unique in the way that I can talk to Liz from the aspect of, and I think a lot of people have this, it's just not from exactly Scientology, but from the aspect of individuals who always knew that maybe their parents needed, like for me at least, I felt I never want to let my mom be in the real world because I knew like the bubble she lived in, and she was way too nice, way too trusting. She thought like a Scientologist because I know how her kind of reality works. So I always felt a little bit like I had to protect her from the outside world. Like, hey, you can't talk to people all day at the grocery store. They're going to think that you're like interested in you or follow like just common kindness maybe that Scientologists do to each other and think is normal and like a good calm cycle is in other situations, like in the real world it might be taken differently, and we're not safe in the real world so much anymore. We have to be like kind of thinking about these things and who we're interacting with and be safe. So I always felt like I kind of had to guard her sometimes. I also felt like because she believed so deeply in L. Ron Hubbard that, and I knew it was not real, I had to maybe sometimes drive the ship, not meaning literally, because she was the adult and she should have, maybe taken some child development classes that were not L. Ron Hubbard based. That would have been lovely because she's an adult, but she chose that, whatever. But we've always had to kind of feel like we were protecting them, right? So I think it's hard to hurt their feelings sometimes, because we know that sometimes when we set a boundary, they take it as their feelings get hurt.
Yeah.
And then also they're wearing off this cult mindset. I mean, my mom's not. She's fully still in. She has nothing to do with me anymore. But
she still believes in the snake oil, unfortunately.
Yes, as does a lot of
my
people.
Mom.
Because but Rain, what did they used to call it? Deprogramming. And they went after Rick Ross, and they really did a lot of lawsuits. You can't deprogram people. I get it. You cannot kidnap people and abuse their rights either. And so you have to think this way and clockwork orange them. I do not. Hold on.
So
keep talking.
She's handling that. But I think where she's going is, a lot of us are used to like pretending everything's okay, kind of like covering up from the real world or still protecting them. And, that's a lot of trauma and past trauma. So it's more learned behavior. And we have to be mindful of the behavior that we're exhibiting, because unfortunately the mindfulness will at least help us understand more. I don't want him out if he doesn't want to be out. If you want to stay in, go ahead. But there are people that want to be out.
There are. I think he does want to be out, Liz, and you know why, because every bit of evidence we have actually says that he does. It's just you being like, oh, I love my dad, and I get it if he wants to stay there.
Scared.
Honestly, he doesn't want to. Really don't think he wants to stay there, so don't worry about that. But at the same time, there's something very different about there's having him physically. I know quite a few second gens who have rocky relationships with their parents who are out too because their parents raised them in Scientology. And even though they might not think the organization is kosher still, they kind of it takes a really, really, really long time to study things, learn things different ways, and you have to want to. And a lot of them would prefer to rest on what Ron told them, what gave them certainty. And
what they experienced.
what they experienced. Because certain things that have happened, we know that her mom has certain viewpoints from a certain point in the Sea Org and from a certain post and what her experience was. But because we've been studying what really happened and all the different experiences, we know a lot more. But she's like, no, that didn't happen. And we're like,
no, that didn't happen.
We want to be loving because that's your mom. And you're not going to be like, if she's finally waking up, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And we don't want to push that away, but we are also have to like respect ourselves enough to say, okay, well, if you keep talking to me like an L. Ron Hubbard reference, because every time you do that, my brain has to work really hard. And I go back into like a Scientologist and it doesn't make sense because you still think L. Ron Hubbard makes sense. Oh, my head hurts. If that keeps happening, can we just talk about other things? And if that keeps happening, it hurts my head. So maybe I could take a little break from you and I'll be back in a week. Like, right?
Yeah. Set boundaries. And I need to learn them. And that's, again, as I told you earlier, you help me from the Scientology aspect of understanding where my brain functions. She understands my heart and everything else. And she knows everything about me. But sometimes I have a hard time explaining.
Because it's like we speak two different languages. It's such a translation, Liz. It's such a translation because we know how your mom's thinking. It's just because of the tech. Like we all are very familiar with the tech because it's pounded into us instead of traditional education. So I can actively see what's happening. Thankful that I have terminology that is used in the real world instead of just tech dictionary now. Yeah. Because I can say, oh, well, when they think this, it might remind you of this or like kind of translate it, right? It's hard to do. And it takes a long time, specifically because we have felt alone because it's so hard to translate. It's actually exhausting. So we just keep it to ourselves. Like,
yes. Because I know I did. I mean, think about it. Like when I first got into the WOG world, I had no understanding of how things functioned outside. I couldn't have told you who the president was when I first got out. But at the same time, it's once you try to explain what this world is compared to this world, they're two separate worlds.
And they feel, I don't know. I mean, I try to take it from, because I know a little bit about developmental psychology. I try to just keep in mind hurt people. And I try to take it back. And I really started learning about my mom's childhood and who she was when she walked in the door. And then try to have compassion for it. Doesn't mean I forgive her for abandoning me and shunning me, because I would love to have her in my life. But
you're amazing.
Thank you. She should have been at both of my graduations from Los Angeles City College and Cal State Long Beach. Everybody else's families were there. I got to have Mrs. Jill Biden talk, though, and that was kind of cooler. And people in the real world who respect science. And so, oh, well, I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying I forgive her. I'm saying that for me to understand why somebody could do this genetically to their child, like cause so much pain and do something that is so unnatural, to shun your own child. Like there are people who I know at my workplace who they have committed crimes, and I know what they are, and I've helped to create compassion around the situation because I understand that there was abuse at home or something like that early on, and the only way that they know how to function is to protect themselves. And it sucks, but conditioning is like everything from such a young age, and if we don't have loving people around, it's so easy to do things we don't want to. That doesn't give us the right to. Doesn't mean it's okay. It doesn't mean you don't go to jail, and you should if you're hurting other people or doing things that are illegal. You can't do anything that doesn't have consequences. So I'm saying my mom has the consequences. I have the consequences of her choices. Mm-hmm. They framed it as our choice, but it wasn't. Remember I told you how they got on my Facebook and they were like, if you don't stop talking to this one person. And I was like, I'm not a Scientologist anymore. You guys said that I could just not be a Scientologist, right? Don't they say that?
Yeah, but they don't mean it.
I know, but like, I know they don't mean it, but this was like the weird ass proof. Like getting a panicked text from a parent, like, delete this person right now. And I was like, I'm not going to delete that person. They're my friend. And I grew up with them actually just because their parent is an SP now. You want me to cut that person out of my life? And they had it framed as I was making a choice of like an SP over my family. So that's what my parents think. I'm choosing this SP life over my family, which is so wild. I'm choosing my First Amendment right to exercise freedom.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the hard part, because we don't know what our parents were told before they were forced to either disconnect. We don't know. Just like, I don't know if he was told that his whole family thinks he was dead. And now it's like, ta-da, hocus pocus, alaka-fucking-zam, poof, you've reappeared. No, it's kind of not like that. This isn't the born again. No, it's still the same person. And who knows what they told him to be able to be okay with not ever reaching out again.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he knew. I think from listening to the recordings over and over again, it sounds like somebody was corresponding with him as you, because it wasn't possible. You. And then he said they stopped. And to me, that's just so sad. That's just so sad. He just thought, oh, my daughter just doesn't want anything to do with me. And that's why we had to go. And show him that that's we'll go again. True. Yeah, because you do care and you wanted to try it. And it's because he's caught in this system of abuse. I believe he still deserves a chance to be dad because he's your dad. Yep. And we're going to open our arms and hearts to him and show him love and compassion for what he's been through. And he can apologize to you for not being there too, because that was a choice he made. And I hope he does that.
Absolutely. And
for everything he did. I mean, not just not being there, for raising you in Scientology, for allowing you to be abused, for allowing all of it. And that's like always the goal. But that's that's why we started this whole conversation. That's probably never going to happen, right?
Yeah, the chances of the true, I'm going to admit what's going on is extremely low. But we have to have, someone told me yesterday, you have to have hope, but hope can hurt in the end. But just have to have hope. And it was the coolest thing. Well, technically, it was my love's dad. Have hope, but just remember, hope can kill. Because emotionally, it can. But at the same time, I still have hope. Even if it's
can't have the bitter without the sweet.
Correct.
And I think the hope is what keeps us going in the dream. And without it, we're just not, there. Hi, Nora.
Hi, Miss Nora.
Oh, look who popped in.
Aw, I love you too.
Just a sweet little babe. Sorry, you guys. I have not been keeping an eye on the chat because this conversation is so engaging. But a lot of people I know struggle with just like, what is our relationship afterwards? Because like, yes, you came out. Are you talking about what happened? Are you taking responsibility for that in a way that we feel like is comparable to the damage done? Or not? Are you? Because I know my dad tried to apologize for a bunch of things that like his ethics officer made him apologize for. They were not things that I had a button on, but they were like things that maybe were like way to happiness type things. And I was kind of so offended by that because I was like, you didn't mention this. So thank you, I guess, for sending like an apology letter as some kind of handling to try to get me to like be happier with Scientology. But you didn't mention anything that I was upset with. And then he got a freaking earful. I'm sorry, but when I could tell it was for him to feel better. And not like actually about what I had experienced.
Or what you needed.
Yeah. And that's the hardest part, being there for people when they need things.
But and the hard part for us is knowing that the roles will reverse if needed. That's hard for me. Like, I can be there all day long. Anytime a friend calls me, I am there, no matter day or night. But if the roles are reversed, I've not experienced very much of if the roles are reversed, they're going to be there. I know my love will always be there, but at the same time, few and far between have we gotten.
You know what it reminds me of? When I left and was taking some philosophy classes, I decided I was going to go through the Code of Honor because I realized my internal philosophy was so based on the Code of Honor. And I was going to decide what points do I still think are valid and what don't I? And the one that I always stick with, and I think you and I both have this, even though we don't like I don't like this about me because I think it's kind of like a poor boundary. And I try to think about self-care a bit more these days. But the one about never deserting a comrade in need.
Mm-hmm. Never leave a man behind.
What does that mean? What does that mean to you?
For me, it's no matter what happens, through thick and thin, you never leave someone behind, no matter what it is. You could be fighting, you could be whatever. You just don't walk away. And that done did me some wrong this lifetime so far.
So what would happen if we thought our comrades were our comrades, but they weren't? And then we felt like we were leaving Scientology, deserting our comrades.
I did. I thought I was leaving my friends behind when I was realizing that it's hard to hold on. For me, anyway, when I was waking up, I still had friends that I absolutely adored that were in. But when I started waking up, I realized that I was the one doing all the reaching. It wasn't equal. And even though they were in, I was doing all the reaching. And now that I'm out, I want to have an equal partner in reach, someone that will be there for me just as I will be there for them. And in waking up, you realize that holy shit, you were the one doing all the goddamn work. Each person, now, before I say, like my life was the worst ever possible, they put in, it's like this saying, when you're married to someone, whether it's a friendship, marriage, anything, you have to put in 100% of you into that friendship. If you're putting in 50%, well, hold on, you each have to put in 100% in order to actually truly be committed to the person. Why are you making that funny face? You got to use words.
I'm letting you finish. I have so many things to say. Go on.
Okay, but it was in my philosophy class where you give 100% of you, they give 100% of them, and together you meet in the middle and you grow together. Okay. But if one person's only giving like 75 or even 10, then they're way back here and you're giving your 100% and that's all you can give, but you guys aren't reaching.
I totally get that.
Okay. Yeah. I'm like, I swear to God.
No. I get that. I have even higher concepts like exploding in my head. You're reminding me of a couple things. One, codependency. And anybody who's ever read the book Codependent No More, oh my God, this is like a Bible. And it started with a group for people who were supporters of people who are addicted to alcohol and other substances. And it started as a support group for how do we support people who have addictions. And what they found out about all these people were they were all people who are like really, really supportive to the point of self-harm. And they were really, really, really supportive of the addicts because the addicts kept being addicts because they have this kind of brain chemistry or liking of it, or they choose to, or they don't choose to. That's their life path. However it works out. Where the people who are trying to prop up and help the addict sometimes tend to take just the same amount of trauma, but it's like invisible trauma because you're always being disappointed, or your boundaries
They're
broken.
not ready to quit.
You're always breaking. And then, and it's like that actual group needed a whole support system for itself. And that became the foundation of the kind of codependent relationship. So with every addict, there's someone who's on the other side, kind of like actual feeding from taking care of them and enabling them to be like that. So that being said, with the idea of never desert a comrade in need, I think it can go terribly wrong with like abusive relationships, because if you're trying to not judge people when you get out of a cult and not be like, where are you on the tone scale? Then sometimes you're so open that you're making excuses. Like, this person is like, this isn't a Scientologist. So they're like, they probably just, you almost want to think the best of the outside world at first, because like to a detriment, because you want to be like, I didn't mess up, right? Like, I didn't fuck up. My parents weren't right. Everybody I knew who told me this was a bad choice, they weren't right. And then it's really hard. You typically go into mental health crisis. At least I did. Liz did. When you find out that everything you ever knew was completely fake. And then you just really want to have love. And then sometimes I think, actually not sometimes, I think I know quite a few second gens who have gotten into abusive relationships with people who were never involved in the church, but because we never learned about asserting our boundaries, telling people how they can treat us, what's okay and what's not, and we just wanted that love, we end up kind of like selling ourselves short, because it just ends up happening, a cycle of abuse. We try to keep our TRs in, we try to never desert a comrade in need, right? So I've had to kind of come to a point of executive functioning in my head where I can never give another person 100% of me, ever, even in a relationship. It's always going to be 100% to that relationship, but not of me, right?
Correct.
So I'm going to have maybe 98% with somebody, hopefully one day. I'm madly in love. Hopefully it's like that, right? There's always going to be
the bells go off.
Yeah, there's always going to be a percentage that tells me this isn't right, or Vanessa's not safe, and I don't care about what this other person is doing. I can desert them. I don't care if they're a comrade, because Vanessa's not safe right now, and I gotta go, right? And I'm so thankful for that. But when we start being like undying for other people, especially when they don't do it back to you, I mean, you hope they do it back to you, but honestly, like, that's so, first of all, so rare, and it's actually not healthy to expect anybody. It's like, if we can respect that each of us has to be our 100% every day, then we each don't make wild demands of each other. We kind of like, of course you're going to answer in an emergency, but nobody's going to over abuse that, because then you respect each other. You're right. Like, there's so many people who are like, fuck it, I'll call whenever, because I just like, I need things. And then there's
only
like
certain times.
And then there's like a serious time that you need to wake up, right? Like, and you need to hear it, and you need to know when it's an emergency, which obviously cell phones have that kind of thing. But I'm just saying, in general, with boundaries and stuff, it's like important to know who we can trust. And then also know who doesn't respect our boundaries if we set them, which is so hard, and then put them in a kind of timeout when they don't, and know that we deserve that too. That's not deserting a comrade in need. I was so scared to disconnect. I didn't want to be them. I didn't want to disconnect.
I will not be you. Like, my greatest fear was that it sounds stupid, I didn't want to disconnect from people, because if I disconnect from people, then I'm just as bad as the people that disconnected from us. Just as the same thing, like, growing up very abused, I could not, for the life of me, discipline, because I saw the smallest part of discipline as I'm going to go that step further. And nope. So no, thank you. Because it immediately, if I have to, and I'm sorry if I'm hurting people's feelings, but for me, it's deja vu, and I'm turning into that person. And so I can't do it. There has to be another way so that the cycle stops. And I'm not saying I would ever do that, but it has to stop.
Totally. You know what I tried, because I struggled with this. I talked to a lot of people about it, and people were like, well, you don't have to it's not disconnect. You could just make space for like 2 years. Or like they would frame it in a way that I could get behind and be like, well, you're right. So this person actually is so toxic, and I'm not doing well when they're around, even if it's someone who I love so much. If I'm feeling horrible when they're around, I have to create space, right? Like that's self-care.
Yep.
And so I had to figure out, how do I like not disconnect from people, but also, because that triggers me to be like them. But then, you know what? It's not black and white. And I think the
True.
reason I don't like disconnection is because I know these incredible human beings who are disconnected from, and I didn't think that that was fair. In the real world, I believe that if somebody is a sociopath, I need to disconnect from them. Like, get away from me. Restraining order. Bye. You will not be coming in my personal space, and you will not have access to my thoughts or my friends or anything like that. Bye, because I've identified you as unsafe. That's okay. That's healthy. You could frame that as disconnection. But when people are just toxic for you, it's okay to like say goodbye you could say goodbye for now too.
Yeah. You can say goodbye for now, and it's just the baby steps of getting there to that right spot.
Yeah.
And then, unfortunately for me personally, I have to do baby steps for everything. Everything has to be done swiftly. So for my mental health, because unfortunately,
Totally.
I have gotten to spots where, like you said, when I found out that Scientology wasn't real, I got to a spot that it blew my mind, and I was ready to die. I was ready to jump off a bridge. I had timed cars. I didn't tell anybody. I was ready, and there was nothing stopping my head from that until I got the help. But for me, now I have to do things in steps, and I have to double check, and I have to be like, okay, where's this stand? And it's not because I'm crazy. It's because my whole stable datum of what my world was came crashing down in a few episodes. And that I'm grateful for, but it was still a little hard.
Well, I mean, it's not like a $1 billion cult on your back or anything. It's not like you have to
not at all.
think through what you say or mean or do.
And not, sound like I'm a blubbering fool and be like, but.
You never sound
That's all,
like
folks.
That. You literally never sound like a blubbering fool. I've never heard you say that. I think people are connecting from what I see in the chat, and also just our mods are cute because it's like, lady, we've had a long week. We know it has been a long week. Honestly, you just made me want to go pour a glass of wine or something.
I'm going to be sober for 1 year as of August 30th. So I will not have a drink, but I will have a sip of Rockstar, which is in a giant cup.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. So do you want to talk about your dad? Anything else? I have like a really funny story. So I want to make sure you tell that before I tell this story.
So I know with my dad, things are a tricky situation. I have not laid eyes on him. I have not talked to him. We are going back down there. So I'm super excited to see where this goes, to see whoever we can get out. Because again, people do want to get out. So if you could donate, and I hate feeling like I'm begging, but unfortunately I'm at a spot that's where we are.
When you say see help. Wherever this goes and who can get out, I mean, obviously we're trying to see if your dad wants to get out because you haven't even seen him yet. But what do you mean by that? Like, do you just want people to contact you if they have other parents who they have found out might be alive, or like what?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. If anyone has been told that your parent's dead, or your aunt, your uncle, your grandfather, your grandma, your child, please reach out. You can reach out to either one of us. You can reach out to Claire, to Mark. again, don't take it as that's your only answer, or what they said to you is stable datum. It's not. It's not a guaranteed. So if you have been told, please reach out to someone, second gens. If you know someone, please reach out, because honestly, we've had so many friends in there, so many family members. Please just reach out. If you want to be on the down low, I am totally okay with that. I have no problem. I started this journey knowing that if I stuck my face out, I was going to stick it out. I'm sticking it out. And Vanessa, you're sticking it out. It was so hard to call you Vanessa, not V.
You're a nickname girl. I like it.
I know.
Nickname lady.
Absolutely. Reach out to Claire. Reach out to Mark. Reach out to, any one of us, anyone on SPTV. Absolutely. We will be there for you 100%. We're already talking. I know the Blown for Good shop is still open. You can get free Bob and Save Bob merchandise. I'm still interested in the stickers. I have the t-shirt. I'm not wearing it. It was a Yoda kind of day.
I mean, that's it. This is a good point too. I don't think it was Bob on the phone with the police officer. Honestly, we can't say that it was.
Yeah, we can't say which way or another. He described me to people that he knew as his pride and joy. You don't go from describing as your pride and joy to suddenly, you don't know who this is. You've been writing with someone. They're an illegitimate child. Now I'm supposedly legitimate, which one is it? It's the coin flip from hell that basically we don't know. But if any of you want to come out, have a story, you don't want to be out in the public eye, it's totally okay. Reach out to us. Just give us, the information that you want, and we'll do our best to see what we can do to fix it. That's all we can do. I'm going to keep on my dad's journey, but if someone needs to also pick up or needs assistance, please reach out to us.
If you just want support, because it's hard to talk to anybody about words or without using your Scientology words.
Yes, it is hard.
When you're talking about Scientology specifically, not in real life, when you're discussing, look, I got Elsa on my back. I got this policy. I'm like, they're applying the condition formula of confusion, power, and this. And you have to talk to somebody who understands.
Verbatim.
Yeah, like this is the policy. Otherwise, you spend so much time explaining yourself. It's just like, honestly, it's tiring. And there's not too many people who have been in these situations. We're happy to be here for you.
Yeah. I'm extremely happy that I have you as my support and my soul sister and my sister with different DNA. I'm absolutely thrilled, because without you, I don't know if I'd made it this far. And for me, that's amazing to actually know that I can trust you with anything. You can trust me with anything. My partner, you can trust her with anything. It's like a yin and yang kind of thing. But we can do that with everybody. All the second generations. We were friends when we were kids.
I wouldn't say I have that relationship with everybody. I would say it's a very unique relationship in that not everybody thinks about mental health the same way. The reason why we connected was because we literally have the same vocabulary and like ideas about health and wellness. And that doesn't mean that I don't love every second gen and look at them like brothers and sisters, but I'm not gonna ever say that same connection is gonna be rampant, because it's very, very rare. Very, very rare. I have it with only a very select few people, right? Like, but that being said, before we knew each other, we didn't know each other were out there.
No.
And the more
and now we know.
Yeah. So when we connect, then we do find these relationships. And it's incredible. And it's
restoring a family. It's giving us a family.
TV support network. Yeah.
Yeah. And whether you're a never in, whether you've been in a different type of cult, you guys being there for us is amazing. And it is like, I'm not saying that we're best friends, but I'm getting to know each of your names, and the fact that you're messaging me and giving me support, that keeps me going. It's amazing. because we didn't have that.
Wow. So I wanted to talk about consent.
Okay.
So with our mental health, because we're talking about boundaries. And I want to tell people, because I come off work just like I'm holding groups at work and I'm like in my zone. So I was like talking to Liz about what happened at work today. And there was a really funny story that actually kind of summed up how I feel about boundaries. And it even has to do with persuasion and why I think we kind of tend to go along with things just because people tell us to. It's been shown in obedience studies that it's really hard when somebody tells you to stop. Are you like tears-ing the camera right now, Liz? Because you're like not moving. I feel like you're like trying to not move. Don't do that. You don't have to do that. I swear. Talk. Be normal, okay? Don't do that.
I'm trying.
You can do whatever. Be comfortable. I love you for that. I get it. Some people don't like it when we move on camera, but we also have to be human beings, so you don't have to.
True. I feel very robotic right now, hence why my face is like super red, and I'm like, okay, we can do this. Oh, I feel my finger fidgeting.
Some people just listen; they won't even watch us. Okay, so it's fine. You sound great.
Thank you.
Yes. So something I do at work is I do intakes. And when we get people from new situations that are like coming from either a houseless situation, a jail situation, or a mental health hold, usually our incredible county actually tries to get them resources and not just throw them off on the street. Not everybody qualifies, but some people do qualify, and they end up at a place like where I work. And it's called a crisis treatment center. There's all sorts of different crisis treatment centers, all different ones. I actually work at 2 different ones, and it's every company has different philosophies. Every job title is different, but the mission tends to be the same, which is to help people stabilize from a really scary experience or a mental health crisis, right? One of the reasons Liz and I are so freaking bonded is because she went through a CRT, that's what we call it, a crisis residential treatment center, and was able to access resources, support, therapy, compassion, medication, access to, like, I don't know if you needed help with any of this, but we try to coordinate people getting identification. A lot of people don't have a driver's license or IDs. A lot of people don't have their birth certificates. They need that. A lot of people don't have a food support program. They don't have housing. They don't have, if they're disabled, they kind of sometimes just want help filling out paperwork. They just need somebody to sit with them, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys have resource help like that at the center you went to?
It didn't affect me because I did have a home, a driver's license, and all that stuff.
You were one of the lucky ones, actually.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I did have a car, so it was like all these things were already lined up for me. But what I needed was help with medications being corrected. And so on this end, I also saw people, with I'm not going to give them names, but I saw people that were living on the street, were having a mental health crisis, and were brought to the facility that I was at. And they were basically getting back on their meds and getting the medication. They were getting back on their medication. From getting back on their medication, you could see like a complete 180 from the person that came in going, sorry, but at the moment it was really bad.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they were like, today's a good day. I'm going to have a great day today. And it was the amazing thing that because I was there, not 72 hours, I was there until I was better. It was amazing to see those changes where someone came in at rock bottom, and then they're leaving 4 steps up, and that their cognition.
Are you familiar with the concept of homeostasis? and like why people would live on the streets and use drugs?
Well, I know why people use drugs, because they make you feel better.
Yeah.
And sometimes when you feel really shitty, they make you feel amazing. But
Yeah.
I don't recommend it.
No. Me neither. People don't succeed because they're very addictive substances that can hijack your executive functioning and just blow up your life. But I do have compassion and empathy for people who just need the pain to stop.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, they're self-medicating when they reach for street drugs or alcohol. There's something going on because we need to be comfortable. It's part of human nature to make ourselves comfortable. And when we are in so much pain and we just need it to stop, sometimes people unalive themselves, or they reach for a substance or something that isn't actually good for us, or a vice or something like that, right? Because we have to cope somehow. The whole point of working with
energy
people
release has to come out somewhere.
Yeah, and when we work with people in a therapeutic setting, we're trying to get them to use healthy coping mechanisms, trying to help their brain with whatever they're missing that they think, because sometimes brains just don't make enough happy chemicals. Hate to tell you guys this. Like, if it's ex-Scientologists walking, hate to tell you, or watching this, I hate to tell you, but sometimes things are lifelong. The way you are born is the way that your brain forms.
Yes.
It's your instructional booklet. If you don't take care of something, it may get worse and worse, especially the more trauma that you go through.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. Because, and based from what my understanding is, and I don't have the level of certificates that you have, but my understanding is, a lot of our youth during the time of development, whether it's emotional, whether it's where we're developing certain ways,
or they make you feel nothing
from us. Yeah.
Yep.
That was completely taken. So when you're hit with emotions, you have to reach out for something that takes those emotions away, because you don't know how to function with those emotions. And so you just need to be numb. And for me, being numb when I was on certain things, yes, I needed it. I did. And then
well, I mean, I've had therapy. Like, I know no mental health person wants you to use any substance. It's literally counterintuitive. Like, they don't go together. They always are trying to get you to do healthy things. It's just how it goes. But I've had actual situations where I've been my life is so destroyed, honestly, because I can't even get out of bed because mom and dad want nothing to do with me. I'm a huge disappointment, and I can't even communicate because I don't have words, and all of these things in your body stops functioning, and you don't even know what's happening to you. And I've had people say to me, like, you do what you do to cope, okay? Just show up tomorrow. And just show up. Like, I'm handing you a stick. All you have to do is show up. You don't have to change at all. Just like show up. And I think seeing people where they are, not judging them, be like, you need to do this before I'm going to talk to you. Like, no, we see you as you are. And we have guidelines here at my work. We have guidelines. And today I did an intake, and I went over all of our guidelines. And my most important one is that you're safe. And I want you to know that this is a violence-free environment. And I know.
It just makes me sad.
Because, and I'm almost going to cry, because when this person came in, they were coming from a situation where they were like being held, and they were not feeling safe. And so to be like, this is our number one rule here. And then they completely changed, and they like told my whole team, they were like, I really like it here. You got like meals and nice people, because we went through a trigger list. And I was like, hey, so I want to talk to you about, like, we're really here to help you. Like, we're a center. Like, this is not just some mental health hospital. Everybody on the team wants to get you resources while you're here. We have a short time, and we're here to like work with you. So here's the rules, like the guidelines. If you break them, if you abuse somebody, if you have violence, it's flat out, you got to go. But like, here's what I want to talk about is that if you have triggers that we know about, what are they? And we go down a list of like, and they can say like a loud TV, or somebody walking into my bedroom and not knocking, right? Because that could be a response that maybe they were abused. And that was how it started. And then it triggers an episode that's not going to help their mental health. So we got to know about these things. So I'll go through the list, and then I'll also talk about like, what can we do if you're feeling, how do you feel when you're, going through something like that? And they can check it off. And then I say, so what could we do to help? And I go down a bunch of lists, like have someone talk to me, go for a walk with a friend, have a snack, call my friend so-and-so or whatever. So we have a plan. And this sweet individual today just said, having someone talk to me. And I was like, that's all it takes sometimes, huh? Just like someone not being afraid and like not running away from you and not thinking, oh, this person's scary because they're talking about not wanting to be alive. Okay. It's a human emotion. Like, you'll get through it. Like, you'll get through it though if I'm right here by your side. But you're not going to like do it alone, because I'm not going to let you. And also, my entire team is not going to let you, because we all care about you. And as long as you respect us, we're going to respect you. And for some people, that's just like, they've never even been in that environment, because I love it so much, because we were not in that environment. And like having rights, like the mental health rights, I go over all of their rights of when you're staying here. Here's what you can expect. And please tell me if somebody is, you can report here. They literally have so many rights. It's like beautiful, but it's the perfect environment for empowerment, healing. We have groups. We talk about boundaries. We talk about all these incredible things. So sometimes we go for group outings, and they tend to love it.
I loved when we got to play basketball.
You did?
I absolutely adored it.
And you kind of bond with your people, huh? Even though you're like, okay, like,
yeah,
I don't know you at all, but
hey, you know how to play sports? Let's do something. Let's go. For me, the hard part, because I remembered my intake, I was like, can I have a cigarette? And they're like, no. And I'm like, okay, good thing I'm only going to be here for a few hours, thinking, I'm going to somehow
the most drama at it's the most source of drama.
Yeah. So basically what happened, the really nice nurse was like, I can give you a patch. Well, let's be real, people. Unless you're rolling and smoking the patch, you're not going to get enough nicotine that a cigarette provides. So I just stopped.
And you also can't have both. Medically, I can't give you both. So either you can have a patch or you can have a cigarette. But if I give you a patch, I can't.
No, at my facility, you couldn't smoke at all.
Oh, wow. Well, we don't provide. Some people actually donate them sometimes. And so they do have sometimes community cigarettes, or like people also have funds and they buy them and we take them out for outings and stuff.
I should have come to your place. Dang it. Because mine was all about no cigarettes.
Disability. Let me help you get GR. Do you want to go to the grocery store? Let's talk about how you spend money in real life and all this kind of stuff.
I would have loved it, because we were all about, no cigarettes and doing my little, I miss you cigarette,
For sure. I mean, it sucks. But like, sometimes if that's your only vice and you've had a really hard time and you're like, maybe someone's literally not on meth and they want like to feel okay for a second. Like, I get it. You want a cigarette and a cup of
just
coffee.
Like I wanted my rock stars, but again, we were only allowed to have decaf coffee. So it was one of those things where I quit both of those things at once. And so the first time I had a rock star, when I got out, I was wired like the 4th of July. It was just like, wow, that can just wired me. The cigarette, I was like, oh my God, I'm lightheaded like I'm 12.
Total. Yeah. Because you're sensitive and people are stabilizing and they're trying to get, what is this person's diagnosis? What's going on? Let's get them on the right meds. And then you're like, oh, some people, they just love to drink coffee because it's like all they could do. They just love to drink coffee. I'm like, let's talk about healthy meal choices today. But okay. So my little story about consent is that, so sometimes when we go out, we go on little outings. It also helps to talk about money management. because some people are getting EBT cards, CalFresh, food assistance. And when we go to a farmer's market, they will accept that. There's different farmers markets all around Los Angeles that accept CalFresh, which is so freaking cool. So to have that experience of like helping them through the merchant situation and all that, so then they know how to do it when they're no longer in our care, is really helpful. And there's a situation where there's a certain person who always, I have noticed now, every time I go, and they know who I am, like I'll come down with our clients and they just only know who I am because I have a clipboard, because I'm kind of like taking notes and stuff. Otherwise, I would just blend in with my clients. And because they actually encourage us to be peers, because we are peers. We're people who have been through mental health crisis. And the whole point is to say, yes, I have experienced similar things, or I've cared for a family member who has experienced similar things. And I'm here for you, right? So that's like a whole huge part of recovery, because sometimes people don't tell their therapist everything. I can actually help with a clinical treatment plan if they're opening up to me and not the therapist. Maybe they have trauma with men, and the only clinician we have this week is a man, and they're not going to get the help they need in that 7 days or whatever, So it's always helpful to have like a whole team coordinating care and then working together. And then we all talk and we coordinate what can best help this person successfully leave our facility, and where are they going to go, and what resources do they still need, right? So when we go down, there's a certain person who always likes to give out samples. And I noticed the first time, because I'm very sensitive to persuasion. I've studied it a lot, and I don't like to be heavily marketed to. I like reality and I like realness, and I really cringe up when I can see something that obviously feels kind of like they're targeting you, or that they're doing something that makes you feel a certain way, and then you act a certain way, but you're kind of being coerced.
Yeah.
Right? Like coercive control.
A lot of commercials are based on that.
Oh, we're all about that in America, because that's how people make money. So we're always being marketed to, for sure. But there's sometimes people take it over the edge, and I'm very sensitive to that. And so this one person has a product that the first time they tried to give me a sample, they held the spoon in their mouth or in their finger, and they said, "Open up." And I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "Open up." And I said, "No, thank you." And I took the spoon and I put it in my mouth. And he was like, "Oh, you are special." And then he decided he liked me because I didn't let him put it in my mouth after an actual sample. I was like, this was so weird. Why would you ever ask a stranger to do that? That seems really personal and just awkward in a public environment. So I knew this, but I can't be with everybody all the time. Okay. So I'm going to turn around and I look around. This man is putting spoons in my client's mouth. And I was like, I didn't like that. So I warned them. I was like, look, let's talk about this. Just because he told you to open your mouth, you don't have to open your mouth. That you could take it too, right? But in the moment, sometimes our reflexes, when someone tells us what to do, you're judging it really quickly. And you're like, well, it doesn't seem harmful. He just wants to give me a sample. But then you feel weird afterwards.
I'm good on a man putting something in my mouth. Okay, we're going dirty now.
Wait, it gets worse. This is the best part. Because this is why it's too easy. Okay, it's almost, my whole point of this story is keep your eyes open for things that make you feel maybe uncomfortable. Listen to yourself. It doesn't mean you're always going to catch everything, nor do we expect you to. But in that moment, when someone says, open up, you can say no and take the spoon. You don't have to consent to any order, right? You can think about it. If somebody tells you to, drop your gun, please do that. Someone tells you don't do something illegal, please do that. But you also don't have to consent to just being sold to, right? So
correct. It's your choice. With human nature, it's choice. But it's what choice are you going to make, whether it's good for you or good for someone else, or is it bad for you and good for someone else? It's all a toss and turn, but you just have to think about it yourself, because sometimes, like, if someone said that to me, I'm gonna give you a knuckle sandwich, but I'm going all bad on the, someone just says, put it in your mouth. Sorry. That's just how my day is.
Wow.
But
the thing is that, like, to me, walking into a course room and starting a training routine in an L. Ron Hubbard Scientology environment is actually giving your consent. And when you're a child, you can't give consent.
Correct.
You cannot give consent under 18 years old. First of all, every time our parents walk into a course room and sit down and study this garbage, they're giving consent to having their mind change. My father is not the person today who he was when I was a child. He has changed into a robot. I am not even kidding. It's the saddest thing that I have ever seen. They took a humanitarian who used to be a surfer and travel the entire world alone, and now he lives for nothing. He would have been the coolest professor. Like, he works literally for Scientology's fake things because he thinks it's helping people, and it breaks my heart. It really breaks my heart when we're working on actual mental health crises in the front lines of homelessness in LA, and our parents are sacrificing because they think they're doing well. Like, honestly, we're just like them. We're trying to do what we can, but we're trying to do it effectively and not in a way that...
where it actually helps people.
Yeah, not in a way that ruins other people's minds, even with poison that has nothing to do with research. Never had research. Never has had published research. L. Ron Hubbard, by the way. First thing I did in Psych 101, let me just check to see if Hubbard has anything back here. Not a single thing. Honestly, the APA doesn't even care about Scientology. Like, we are like, oh, they hate the psychs. And they do spend a lot of money to, like, piss off the American Psychological Association. And they freaking don't at all. And that's my favorite part of it. They just, like, these people are okay.
And it's nothing like what they said when we were kids. I can't tell you how many times, oh God, that's psych talk. Oh, that's psych talk. Yeah. And I can't tell you how many times they're going to blame everything on your family. They're going to not let you take any responsibility. They're just going to warp your head. Oh my God, that's nothing like what it is. They help you get your own thoughts. You're giving your thoughts to a person, and you're coming to your own conclusions with their skills and knowledge to help guide you in the direction. But no, they don't tell you to hate your father, to hate your mother. They have nothing to do with it. It literally is just...
And it happens really slowly. Nobody joins a cult because they know it's a cult. And nobody walks in thinking that they're going to end up having a child in it, raising it, to the word, and then losing their child. I really don't think that anybody would give consent to that. No. I think it's coercive control, persuasion. And my final example to this story is that I was at work today, and a coworker who I adore, like, I'm not sure why, but security guards have my heart everywhere I go. I'm always besties with the security guards. And sometimes, like, I don't even care. I just hang out with them because it's probably my own safety needs of, like, liking people who aren't afraid to just protect you. But at the same time, they're just kind humans. And so my friend goes down to to get some food from the place that we go sometimes. And he buys this product that I was talking about that had the dude who had told me to open my mouth, right? And I had told my friend, I don't want to go down there, like, because I just don't even have the time right now. I want to go get a coffee, but will you go get me that yogurt I like from that creepy guy I was telling you about? So I don't have to deal with it. Like, will you get it for me? And he was like, of course. So he goes down there and he was like, he's weird. I was like, he's weird. And I swear I told him why. He says I didn't. So he comes back and he has all these flavors. And I was like, what happened down there? And he was like, well, I tasted really good ones. And I was like, you tasted them, huh? And so I was like, did he tell you to open your mouth? And he goes, and I was like, did you? And this is a 6'3" large male, very intimidating, who did. Okay. And this is not someone who like doesn't think before they do things or say things. They really do. They're considerate, they're mindful. And this tactic worked. And he even told me, because I was like, wait, you open your mouth? He goes, yeah, he puts it in your mouth and then he swirls it. And I was like, wait, what? I was like, now that you said that, you reminded me. He puts it in your mouth and swirls it. And that's so weird. It's like a weird technique to sell you something. I was like, did you feel weird? He was like, I did feel weird. And I was like, I told you he was weird. He was like, you didn't tell me what was going to happen. So even though he's so smart, cannot fall for the literal mind games of a lot of people who try to like even just cause problems for this person in his normal life. Like he's very smart. But that one little thing caught him off guard and he opened his mouth and then he felt weird afterwards. And I was like, honestly, maybe you know how it feels to be a female. No, just kidding. But it truly shows the point of sometimes things happen in coercive control situations.
Yes.
When people tell you to do things, you don't even know why you're doing them. You felt weird afterwards. And then you're like, wait, did I even give consent? Was that consent? Just because that person, like, it was a split second. I mean, yeah, but it's a blurry line too.
Yes, that's super blurry.
Like, to me, that felt like my friend didn't give consent. He just got caught off guard.
Yeah.
So I get, you know, there's a lot of laws about it. And in England and different places, coercive control is not okay. It's in America that it's like, make as much money as you want.
Good luck.
You want to child trafficking in a hotel? You know, you want tax exempt status? All right, maybe.
Sure, you can have it.
Here it is.
Here you go. Like, here you go.
Here you
Dang,
go.
my palms are greasy.
Yeah.
But, you know, you can only hope with that one that everyone that's involved in the putting that information is found out.
For sure. And I hope we can do something like the UK. I mean, honestly, they have a Masters of Coercive Control program over at the University of Salford that a lot of my friends have gone to. And I've heard really cool things that for sure it does rock for that.
Yes, it does.
I've heard really, really, really cool things about this program. And I wish that we could have that law here. I wish we could
baby steps
for sure. And it's only people getting educated on what coercive control is and persuasion and manipulation. But you know what? It's not that hard to do. I went to Cal State Long Beach, and then a choice of a class I took is called persuasion and mind control. I also took another one, women in power, sex, and money. Which, let me tell you, we don't have much power historically. It's about the opposite of it, but it's actually really, really good to learn that kind of stuff. And then
I took anthropology.
When you grew up in Scientology, and then you're like, oh, this whole thing was. I was calling people sir. Like, even the
male,
fact that
female
a
did
male
not matter.
is respected. Sir is the most utmost respect you can tell someone, but that's a male.
Correct.
So how is that programming us to think?
Well, you also have to think about it. It's not just the males. Like, my boss was a female and she was sir. It was never ma'am.
Well, but that's exactly the point. You associate the respect.
As my senior.
Yeah, because it was your senior and you wanted to be respectful. So you used a male pronoun. Yeah. Because a female one would just be weird.
Yeah, that sounds as weird as you put it. Yeah, because that's what we were to call them. If that's what people are to refer to me, they were to refer to me as sir. If they weren't on the equal playing field, it was sir,
Yeah.
which I am not a boy. I am not a man.
Well, I didn't even know until I took, I wasn't even in a women's studies class. I was in an English class, and my incredible professor decided to only highlight female protagonists in the semester of books that we were going to be reading. And at first, here's what's weird. I didn't know how anti-feminist I was myself because the first even thought was, oh, all female characters. I really associated a lot with powerful like rappers at the time. Like, I don't know, for whatever reason in my mind, I was like, all female characters. I didn't understand it. That was my entire freaking problem. Like, I have not been exposed to that. I have not been exposed to enough female protagonists to identify with. And my English professor decided this entire semester is going to be about female protagonists because it's so important and it's actually so rare.
Mm-hmm. You know what that just reminded me of? We do have a protagonist now. She just filed a lawsuit.
Oh, we got a hero because people need people to like figures in their life who can do things and they can look forward, like look at and think, wow, oh my gosh, that's something
she's been dealing with this
before. And that's strength and that, right? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Because she's been being fair gamed for years. She's been being hit from every which angle. Just, it's just unfortunately that's what's been happening to her. And now she is the one person that's standing up and we can look upon and respect and be like, oh my goodness, like,
yeah,
finally someone is saying, fuck you, enough is enough, I'm done.
My brothers,
I'm
I have two half brothers, and their father fought to keep them out of Scientology, so we had a bit of a different upbringing. I was done very by child Dianetics, and they they completely got that nice little outside thing to it, but they always say that their little sister has bigger balls than both of them, and I kind of just love that it's a bunch of women. Not that there aren't men in the movement, but it's also a lot of women, strong women, who were taught by strong women, because we came from strong women, how to be strong women. And if they're going to be crazy OSA ladies, we're going to be crazy anti-OSA ladies. How about that? And we're going to fight.
I'm okay with that.
We're going to literally do it with love instead of hate. And that's how things get done. So,
because I know when, minus some of the stuff that I grew up with, the one thing I loved is that people feared my mom. I didn't want anyone to fear me.
Too,
but people feared my mom. They either wanted to be her or they were scared of her. But it was this respect that she had, where it was like when she said, what the fuck are you doing? Sorry, guys, but that's how we talk. It became this like attention and everybody's listening, and they would just, it was amazing. And so did I want to be that strong? Yes, but I wanted to be that strong in a different way.
Yeah.
And so now I'm finally doing it. I'm finally standing up and saying enough. And we've got someone that's screaming enough. And that's someone to look up to. That's someone to applaud. I'm okay with applauding her for saying enough. Because we're done. You're done. We're coming. And you brought us.
I got to show. I agree. I got to show the news piece on ABC7. So
nice.
They did like a 4 minute piece on Leah's lawsuit. And we've suffered with people not talking about this for so long because they're afraid of being sued and whatever. So when Leah filed this lawsuit, they can't not report on it because it's the facts. There's no way that Scientology can sue them for reporting that a lawsuit is being filed. It's actually brilliant. So me having this segment and being able to show people what she's suing for, fair game, since we've been experiencing it since coming home, and having a resource, just like the Aftermath, the show, having that resource to educate people. Like, if you want to understand what's been going on in my life. Watch this 4-minute clip. And then I show them how the editing of like literally her face says some horrible things too. I'm like, doesn't it look like the same designer made these slanderous things? And then it becomes so obvious what's happening.
That they're doing the same thing
around you, that if you decide to speak up, you get attacked. And like, you just know that the people who love and care about you just know that that's literally just crazy ass Scientology. Like literally, yep. And don't even fall for it. Like, don't even go get arrested for punching somebody. Honestly, they would love that. Just like,
yeah, because then you're the bad guy suddenly. Not that they were hounding you and you were barely sleeping.
Defending.
And
it's always that the second you defend yourself, they're like flip it on you.
Yeah, but they antagonize the whole situation until you're to that point where you're like, enough.
Yeah.
And, you know, unfortunately, we're there.
Yeah.
This choo-choo train is going. And
it's going, Goldie. The
we're like,
it's rolling.
It's rolling.
It's rolling. The dam is really broken. I'm gonna put up some super chats real quick and just chats I thought were cute. On this one, they were saying, oh yeah, it's gonna be a bit different. I think we were gonna do more afternoon to 9 or something like that, or at least on my coast. So we'll go over specifics, but it will be more like an all day thing, and you guys can pop in, pop out, or stay the whole time. We're going to stream it on all of our channels. We'll have more info soon. Again, the fundraiser for Liz's GoFundMe. Thank you so much for every single person who donated. We do believe that Liz's dad is awake. He wants to see Liz, and that when we get him, it will be a really great day. So,
and we will show you, because it's going to be that day where I give this man a hug and I'm just not going to let go, and we're going to show you, and we're going to show everyone getting that moment, and you get to be there with me.
It's like Amy Scobie and her mom. That I cry every time I watch that, because I honestly feel like I'm just going to get a call one day that my mom passed away. I don't feel that way. I just know that because it's been so many years, and like, you know how Ron talks about smoking cigarettes is cool because you're like a volcano, and so she still smokes. She isn't. I don't know if she goes to the doctor. I hope she does, but can't expect them to live forever living that Elron lifestyle.
True. But look at my situation. We're almost at 20 years. I'm not saying that you will need to wait 20 years, but
hope
my
exists.
dad's going on 73. So hope does exist. It's still there. If we wake up enough people, it's going to spread like wildfire. And then before you know it, we'll hopefully get that parent back. If we don't, and they're making a different decision, we gave it our all.
Yeah. I mean, we can still love them from afar too. Like, I don't not love my parents. I really love my parents. I just love them from afar.
Yep. And I do absolutely love my dad. I kind of wish that he had a tan. You know, that would have been nice to have, you know, some copper skin or something.
I kind of wish he had a tan because you're so white and
freckly. Well, I'm not freckly, but at the same time, I'm so white. Again, I have like 3 shades. I have white, red, and please call 911. I'm on fire. You know, those are my shades. Like, we're going to get a tattoo so that way, well, everything will be tattooed. So then I'll look kind of tan. You just won't see it through the tattoo.
Hey, tattoo. We'd be getting those SB tattoos when
I know. I can't wait.
When
Charlie,
we can. Well,
Charlie's
I bet Charlie's not going to get one, but
we might be able to be like, because
didn't you tell him?
Yes, we could always ask and be like, look, we did the angels. It's time for you to get the Charlie.
Like, sorry.
So, and then all of a sudden we can line up together and
Charlie. Okay, so also, hold on, I'm just going through these real quick. Thank you so much, Lone Dinosaur 13. Rooting for you,
Thank
Liz.
you.
Choo choo, Goldie, choo choo. We love you, ladies, and have your back. Thank you, Marilyn. We love you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, you're an awesome woman who helps a lot of people and does a lot of things that you don't have to just because you're sweet. And
I know, and she's like that mom that everybody wanted. Like she's literally like the June Cleaver. Like just so nice that you just want to hug
but
her.
not like corny though. She's like
No, it's not corny.
She's
It's
like got the funny things on her cups. Like she like makes really dirty jokes with us, and so that's kind of fun too.
Yeah,
like, our
she makes
moms
a
were
smile.
not like fun in that way.
Mm-hmm. No. The first movie I remember going to, I'm sorry to change the subject, but my mom was like, "Oh, AOLA's #1. We're going to the movies." She takes me to Predator. Predator. Look up Predator and then find out. Again, I was born in 1980. I was not prepared for Predator. We go to a nice restaurant after, and I spent most of the time like hiding underneath my seat, and a plant barely touched me, and I lost my shit, grabbed a fork, and I was stabbing that plant.
I mean, you don't take people who have PTSD to scary movies, especially children.
No, I still can't watch Predator. Like, plants will die.
That's okay. You don't have to watch. Nobody's going to make you do it, I promise.
Nope.
This is a good one. On another note, Liz has the best, most beautiful smile in the whole world.
Thank you so much. My smile is slowly coming back because of this, where I'm okay with smiling all the time. And the littlest things make me smile. And this is doing it.
Good. Me too. You know what I've noticed since joining SPTV and starting our channel?
What?
There's a lot more pictures of me smiling. Or like
right?
I'm smiling with teeth. Like I've really been being my authentic self. And I think that
because I used to do the whole.
Yeah. Oh my God. I have a friend who like, I don't know, I've known him for so long, and he pointed it out to me that every picture of me as a child, I am mad dogging the shit out of everybody. Every single picture. Little Vanessa, like a like 3 years old. Like
that's kind of scary.
Well, why
but
are
most
the
of
kids
mine were
not
like
smiling? Like a bunch of little kids should be smiling, not like
absolutely.
Why so serious, right? Like,
oh, that was a good movie line.
I know. What about this witness? Thank you for this insightful commentary. We've all been conditioned to see females as diminished, quiet, submissive. It's really bad. I agree. And if you're not like that, then you're a crazy bitch. And
yeah, all of a sudden you're a bitch.
Either.
You're crazy. If anything, like I can't tell you how many times like I stood up to be, someone's protector or whatever it is. Oh, she's just a crazy bitch. Look at her. Cool. I'm okay with that. And I know someone that's like, go ahead, call me crazy. I'll show you my cariotti.
Well, but that's what we end up like. Honestly, the only guys who stick around are the guys who like actually appreciate what we bring to the table and respect it, and then want to protect that. And then is that laughing at your cariotti in there? I heard it like a ha ha ha. And I know there's a live delay.
There's a delay.
Funny. Yeah, that's hilarious, actually. But honestly, smart.
But I love her laugh. It makes my day.
It was really cute. Smart men pair up with some powerful women because we're all so good at doing different things, and smart men are great at helping us with different things, even psychologically. Sometimes men have a better way of looking at spatial stuff. There's been a lot of testing, so like architecture type, or like any, like if you're putting things in a trunk, like, oh man, I'm horrible at that. I actually always ask people for that kind of stuff. Doesn't mean it's necessarily true, something supported by evidence, but I do believe that we all have unique qualities that when we can lean on each other, like men aren't necessarily conditioned to feel weak or insensitive or show emotion because they think that it's weakness if they show emotion. It's not weakness. We know we've even we've had to teach ourselves that, but most men are not going to openly emote. When they do, I just trust them more than ever because I'm like, you're not only a strong man, but you have emotional maturity level that shows me that I can trust you, right?
And it's few and far between. And I love when I'm learning to love that aspect of myself, and I'm learning to open up a lot more. And I love that.
Yeah, I do too. So you guys have
Any
been
questions?
talking in here, like being sweet. I don't even know. I'm actually reading a lot of compliments.
That's cool.
I think Apostle Alex might be trying to butter us up.
Hey, now I'm taken.
Yeah, I think they know that you're deeply in love with Carrie. Like, honestly,
Yes.
anyone who's ever watched us, the second she walks by, you're like, hello, my love. It's really
it's like a Casanova. Like, hey, how are you?
I really hope that
Yeah,
everybody
she
gets to
is.
feel that way about somebody.
I hope so too. Absolutely. Please, for the love of baby Jesus, don't settle for anything less than being being adored and loved, and where you're around them and you want to smile. Don't settle for anything less.
Yeah, you deserve it. You deserve better, because something my therapist always said to me was, you have, because sometimes we don't believe it when we're really hurt, and she'd be like, you have value just because you're a human.
Yep.
Like, you get default value because you're a human being. And I didn't even believe her. I was like, nope, no
Access
value.
denied.
Just no, let's not do that. And it's really hard to believe sometimes, and people just have to be like, but you're a human. And I think when you are trained to see the world so darkly, your values are all messed up inside. How are you going to even value a human being? We didn't value human beings. We valued dedication.
Knowledge.
It wasn't even, it was like fake knowledge. It was fake news.
Correct.
We valued fake news.
We basically took the Star magazine of intelligence and we thought it was gospel.
Yeah, I'm just putting your thing up here because I want everybody to go donate one more time before we
please.
sign off on our Friday night, because
Absolutely. And I love that everybody's helping. Just keep spreading the word. We'll keep doing this, and then before you know it, we'll have videos that follow us along, because you get to follow this journey.
Yes, it's so fun. Actually, we need you guys to follow this journey.
Yeah, you got strength. Sometimes
we can't do it alone. Nobody else can do it alone. We don't expect to do it alone. We need you guys. Come on now. We all got this. We know you're here too. That's the only reason we're doing it. To be quite frank, we would not be talking like this openly if we didn't think that this community was so freaking awesome and supportive, and know that you guys are really there to help us. So thank you yet again.
Thank you. And remember, we're just as human as you are. It's just some of us are on this journey too. And so, yeah, we're all human. We're all equal. But
yeah,
thank you for following. Thank you. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart.
And also, I want to say for the record, because I know a lot of people leave this in comments, I'm probably going to have to say it a couple times. When we say normal, it's shorthand for people who don't know an entire tech dictionary like it's their first language. That's what we mean. We know that nobody is quote unquote normal. It's just shorthand for someone who speaks my language.
Has the lingo down.
Maybe we switch it to that instead of saying normal. Maybe we
I'll do it.
Figure out a different, because I don't like the word wog either.
I hate the word wog.
So maybe
someone asked me why I love Harry Potter, and it's because you were a muggle or you were a wizard.
Yeah.
So it's like
the wog world, though. It's like it totally
the muggle world
makes sense. Yeah. I'm not even Alex. Your comment was so corny. I cannot even read it out.
Yes, now I need to see it.
No, it's literally the most. Who's writing this? Liz is looking for her dad, but in a way, we're all looking for our dad because we are a family.
Okay. Yeah, we're in it together. I actually agree with that. As cheesy as it does sound, I mean,
Like I just threw it in my mouth. I don't disagree with it.
But it is. You guys are on this journey with us. We tell you everything so that we're safe. And
he actually meant it to be serious. That makes it okay, fine.
Okay.
See, we don't believe sweet people.
Yeah, it's hard. Not gonna lie.
We're like, what are you talking about?
Like, where are you going with this?
Are you saying I have daddy issues?
No, because for me, my favorite line is, are you saying I have abandonment issues? I do.
Yeah, I know.
But I'm working on it with a therapist, and I love my therapist.
You know what? I believe that when we acknowledge what it is that we have trouble with, oh my gosh, that's when the power comes
Opens
up.
a brand new window.
When I can say, oh my gosh, I just found this thing that I really think that I've been suffering with. Now I have a word. I am like, oh no, there's research on how to do this. You guys know that? And I didn't even know this word. Like, it really is incredible. Really, 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 really incredible. Aw, there's the angel. What a sweet girl.
She is my angel.
What a sweet girl. I was driving to work this morning, last thing, and it kind of bothered me. The two women on the Power 106 radio station, they were talking about like the hip hop radio station in LA. I was listening to the morning show, and they were trying to be kind of like, they were trying to understand why somebody had daddy issues that wasn't a female.
I think
but these were two women talking. And then they said,
crude.
No. And then they said, but what is it called when a man has daddy issues?
The same bloody thing.
Not only is it called the same bloody thing, but there's like the oedipal complex and the, like the two different versions of it, right? So there's the mommy issue and the daddy issue. So we can each gender, sex, whatever you identify as, if you're a male, if you're a female, if you're nothing, if you're
blue,
asexual,
black, green, or purple.
Yeah, honestly, like you're Xenu, okay? It doesn't matter. We don't care what you like to do. But again, you can have mommy issues, or you can have daddy issues, or you can have both.
You could have love issues. You could have not knowing who's giving love, who's fate loving you.
I also hate daddy issues phrase. I think it's a word or a phrase that's used to weaponize against women. That's why I'm even bringing up mommy issues, because I want to turn it around. And
how about we say it's mom problems and dad problems?
Sure. But what it means,
that's better.
But what it means is not problems currently. What it means, in my opinion, is that people are consistently seeking these validations from outside sources. So why would you become obsessed with a strong man or woman who completely ignores you? Does that mimic your parent? Is that comfortable for you? Are you used to chasing love? It makes you comfortable, right? So you're used to it. You don't have to change. Let's just like be with someone who's like my mom and like kind of was mean to me. No, that's not.
Yeah, and she has an amazing daughter. Like you tell me all the time that my dad has an amazing daughter, but your mom has an amazing daughter too. Like she's smart, she's funny, she's got some good tattoos. They're not squiggly and bad,
Yeah.
You're an amazing person.
She thinks they're very degraded. Like, Ron said that tattoos degrade your body. So this first tattoo I kept hidden forever. And then she saw it and started sobbing.
I wore a sweatshirt when it was 107 degrees because my mom didn't want to see the disgusting tattoos. So I would wear a sweatshirt to be respectful until finally my other half was like, it's fucking hot. She can deal with it. Stop trying to give yourself heat stroke to cover up some part of yourself. And so finally, when she said that, it was kind of like, suck it. I'm done. It's too hot. I have tattoos. I love them. They mean the world to me. Right. Oops. Sorry, guys. Right here is the London skyline. Above that is New York skyline. And I have a phoenix because it's rising from the ashes of everything that is important to me.
I love that. I had to
So it's
tattoo
art.
things. I got a tattoo right across, right around the corner from Cece at Atomic. A lot of us did. And it says this.
I got a flaming baseball from them.
Wow. Well, mine was a little bit more meaningful. It said this too shall pass, because I had to remember that even the good times. Wow. Aren't we just little sisters after all?
That is hilarious.
That's happened in many people I know, actually, that we've had that happen. And I also have a friend in Jamaica who was like, can I please get that tattooed? I was like, I would love for you to do that, because it's a phrase that means so much to me. It means the good times are going to pass, the bad times are going to pass, and we have to remain stable and remember that through all of it. This too shall pass.
Good time, bad time.
Yeah. This will always pass. It doesn't have to be black and white. It doesn't have to be, anything like that. Yeah, I think first of all, two things. I realized that my mom is so tech trained. I'm so tech trained because I like structure. There's a lot of things that come to us through genetics, through our environment, through when we're born. They're like little instruction packets. And then when we reproduce, we actually only send our best genes to merge. So of course, we're going to evolve and get smarter and cooler over time, because we're not cavemen. We have evolved into this brilliant species who can use technology and do this incredible research and build these buildings. And every generation is just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit more strong and more, just a little bit, has a little bit to keep it going. So why would our parents just not fucking listen to us? Huh? Like, honestly.
Right? Because if they would just listen, then, and again, I'm not trying to force them to feel how I feel, but just listen. But, sometimes I will say with electronics, I used to make this joke all the time to my grandma that basically she rode to school on a donkey. Her social security number's 1. What was it like being homies with Jesus? All these things. And now I'm that person. I'm that old person. That's like,
but we have to give it to the next generation and be like, I respect what you got. But then we also want to be respected for our wisdom, which I love to honor people's wisdom, but I'm not going to over honor it either. You're not going to tell me that L. Ron Hubbard is still right.
What?
In 2023.
Yeah, he's not coming back.
Like, I can't over honor. I'm not going to respect my elders on that one. And I've already chosen that. Sorry.
Yep. And second gens, if we can get together, as weird as it sounds, we could kumbaya, we could do whatever.
We've had a couple second gen meetups. Maybe we could get one going on our coast again.
Absolutely. We need a second gen meetup. Maybe coming up. It'd be nice. We get us all together. We laugh. We smile. We do it all. We'll do it all.
We do it all separately a lot, but it'd also be nice to invite some people and try to get everybody together on a similar date. I also wanted to tell Juliana, because she's been leaving these comments about Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. Oh my God, that was my favorite show. It is hilarious. Have you guys seen that?
Crazy Ex-Girlfriend. I would have to ask my other half because I'm bad with names.
It is so good. And it's here it is. I don't know if anyone has seen Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, but that amazing show has the most accurate and respectful representation of mental health issues. And I completely agree. I mean,
isn't that hilarious. A movie?
No, it was a series. And I was like, this isn't even real. It's so real. They made a show like this is freaking hilarious because it's so real life done in a good way. So.
All right, I'll have to look it up and see what it is because I know there's a movie about something like that.
Well, I mean, it's a lot too about how women are always framed to be crazy, but so it's fun to laugh at, and all of that. And the last thing, yes, we also expect that if it was her father, obviously he had handlers around him.
Yeah, they were telling him what to say.
Without a doubt.
Because I don't care how many years it's been, how long it's been, whatever's happened, anything like that. There's no way that you would suddenly be like, I don't remember the birth of your child when you were standing right there. that you don't remember the hugs or saying my pride and joy. No, no. Stop keeping the families apart. Just stop. We're done. We're done letting you keep our family apart.
For sure. We're done. We're done. We're talking about it on a Friday night because that's what we do.
Absolutely.
I also just wanted to say RIP to Luke Perry, my first love, Dylan McKay. I don't know if anyone else who was raised in a cult, any cult, found out about the real world through watching TV sometimes. And let me just tell you, I grew up in LA, Saved by the Bell, Beverly Hills 90210.
You know, Leah Remini was on Saved by the Bell, right?
Do I know? When she
I'm
was
just saying.
on it, it was my...
She's hot.
Not only that, it was my favorite show. Her mom was my teacher when she was on it. And I had a Leah signed thing because she used to like pick us up sometimes and take us to the Sherman Oaks Galleria or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, this woman used to hang out with Zach Morris. Ooh. And then...
Well, I didn't care about any of that, but I just thought she was, you know, she sounded almost like a New Yorker. So I was like, is it going to be the Yankees or is it going to be the Mets? Which one is she doing?
Have you heard her mom talk?
It's that teacher. Brooklyn accent.
Yeah. And it was like,
and I love it.
Whoa. Well, I thought, holy moly, she's like really on there with these like really cute boys. First of all, that was what I thought because I was friends with her younger sister. And then I was just like, this is so cool. She's on this show that I am obsessed with. And I used to also study Beverly Hills 90210 just to be like, is this how the real world is? And I have to tell you something.
I thought it was more like Beavis and Butthead.
Well, I always thought that the real world, like movies and stuff, were just really make-believe. Yeah. And you know what? After like landing on planet Earth and like assimilating to a new environment, yes, movies are fake. Yes, TV shows are fake. And you can't expect anything. But I used to think that like love stories or those things that really, of course, love stories are produced for whatever, but real like compassion movies where you're moved to your core. And I just really didn't even think that kind of shit existed. Like I was just like, family, what the fuck is that? Of course they're making a movie about it, they're producing it because
my family's nothing like that. My love
fake,
life is nothing like that.
Yeah, there's nothing like that exists. And then people would be like, what do you think your life is like on the TV? And I'd be like, no, of course not. But then I realized like, even though, it's fake and it's made with messages or whatever, but like it was a lot more really like real life than our life was.
Correct. But and at least now when it comes to, I may not understand the family aspect, but you're helping me learn it. And we're all helping each other. But the love aspect, I was always like, you know what? I want a love like in The Notebook. Like I want that. And so there's times where I'm like, I do have it. Because if she's a bird, I'm a bird. Yeah. Like I don't care. And so it's just one of those things where it's like there are some real life aspects to it. But it's all about learning and meeting in the middle. Because if she's a bird, I'm a bird. I'm just saying. Tweedly.
For sure. And having that willingness to get informed is like huge too. It takes a lot of strength to ever say, I don't know. Like the reason why we respected those strong women is because they always had certainty. They always said things like they believed it. And that's why they're trapped in there, because when they leave, they have to question their own certainty.
Everything they believe in. Everything. Yeah.
And that maybe they're not as powerful as they thought. Maybe we don't control everything. Maybe we can't control everything through doing condition formulas.
You mean you can't heal yourself from cancer?
You like can. You like go to the doctor.
Go to the doctor.
You like work on your health.
Science.
You use science-based practices. Maybe you can. Hopefully, maybe you can't. But at least there's like actual things out there you can
that will help save you, help continue your life without I'm healing myself.
Well, also preventative medicine is why we live so long these days. And it really makes me happy when I hear that people are taking care of their health and they're going for their yearly blood tests. I love going for my yearly blood tests because I never had that kind of access to my health before. So when I can look at my health, because I'm a person who kind of naturally has anxiety or some kind of anxious features, I actually go, oh, wow, my levels are great.
Here's something for you. I've never had chickenpox, ever. Never had the vaccine. So I get told all the time by the doctors, because I've never had chickenpox, if I, as a 43-year-old person, get chickenpox, it will kill me. I don't have to worry about getting shingles because I've never had chickenpox. Mm-hmm. And that's part of a lot of us as second gens. We didn't get all our vaccinations. Some people did. Some people got a lot of them, but not all of them. And so I pray to God.
Someone still don't have all of them, but I still don't have all of them.
Right?
I think I do, but it's only because they keep telling me, because I walked in as an adult and said, please fully vaccinate me. And they said, well, there's certain things you always get as a baby. And I said, no, there aren't. And they said, no, you had it as a baby. We just can't find it. Like, we have to make sure, because if you didn't have it as a baby, this is the whole thing. And I was like, no, I'm telling you, I did not have it as a baby. And they were like, thinking it was weird, because we were the original anti-vaxxers. That's why I'm so serious about not looking at misinformation or poisoning your brain with it, because it takes mental effort that you don't have to expend. The real info is out there. Why would you even humor it? Real life is way more incredible and way more cool. Science is way more astounding than these.
I love forensic anthropology. I love it. Anne Rice, RICE, an amazing author, also a forensic anthropologist. Yeah, I love science. It has made my life so, it changed my world.
Science is flexible too, and it allows for correction. It allows for my favorite part about writing a scientific research paper is the further research part, where you actually speculate on what could be done in the future if another researcher picks up this piece of paper and wants to expand on it, and what needs to be done to prove this or disprove this or whatever. And I'm like, I love that. It's like a team effort. It's like, I'm open to criticism, and when this happens, let's talk.
Let's learn really from it.
Yeah. And then a lot of researchers actually start off with a hypothesis and end up disproving their hypothesis. That ends up because they're doing ethical research, where they're not like what is it called when you cheat the stats? They're not padding the stats. Yeah, padding the stats. So but when sometimes you end up with results you did not hypothesize, but you had to put a hypothesis. Your hypothesis
it's an educated guess.
I think, exactly. I think this is going to happen. I love that you know that, Liz. You're so smart. The hypothesis is what you expect to have happen. Then you actually write your paper about, did this happen? How did I prove that it happened, or how did it not happen? And this is how I did it. And then sometimes you don't prove your hypothesis, but the information is that we really thought this was going to do this, and it didn't. It did the opposite. And those are actually the coolest breakthroughs.
Yeah, absolutely. I love learning.
Yeah. It's really cool.
Science is it's kind of like the wheel. It's an indefinite spinning cycle that can keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. The more we prove things are and aren't the way that it's amazing.
And we don't even say prove. We just say supported by research. Because no one has to prove anything. Well, but proof to us can mean supported by research. Because every day the sun comes up, I do not have proof it's going to come up tomorrow, actually. I'm pretty sure because of past experience, because we've documented it for how many years that it's happened that way, and that's always been my experience. So I can really say with 99.9% pretty certain, but I'm still not going to say it. I don't know. So that's our strength, is letting go of that certainty.
Yep.
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 You're so funny.
Had to do something.
Well, you guys are all so sweet. Thank you for joining us tonight. This was super fun.
Absolutely. Thank you
Been
for
chatting
sitting
a
with
long
us.
time. Please
And
go and
thank you for
donate to Liz's
absolutely.
fundraiser on GoFundMe. We're gonna have even more things coming up that you guys can participate
Yeah, and you'll love hearing what we've got planned.
Yeah, you will. Unless you're David Miscavige, then you'll make some more merchandise or something. I don't know.
You'll just create some fake news. Before I close out, Aaron's way of reading the letter to Leah's. I about died. I about pissed my pants laughing so hard. It's the Donald Trump and the she's so bad. You know, it's like even the comeback wasn't a comeback.
Funny. It's so bad. They can't help themselves. They're just
Go
getting
ahead.
worse by the day.
Dig your own. Just dig it.
Their plans are horrible. They don't know what to do. They're falling apart. Their storylines are falling apart. They're just going for blood, but they have no.
They have no blood to go for, and we have truth behind us.
It's just 2023, so sorry. Bye.
Time to rock the boat.
Yeah, this roof is on fire, right, Second Gens? Happy Friday, you guys. Good night.
Have a great
night.
Thank
you for joining. See you soon.